7 habits that will change your life. Sometimes we feel like we're working hard, but we're not really getting anywhere. Life can feel busy, but we still struggle to reach our goals. Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, helps us understand how to live better, not just work harder. The book is about more than just success. It's about how to live with purpose. Covey shows us how to take charge of our lives and make decisions that align with our goals instead of reacting to whatever happens around us. He talks about creating habits that lead to long-term growth. The 7 habits is not about finding quick solutions. It's about developing habits that will help us succeed in the long run. Covey teaches us how to make better choices every day and build a life based on strong values. In this video, we will break down these 7 habits, explain them in simple terms, and show you how you can apply them in your own life. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of how to start making positive changes that will help you succeed. The first 3 habits in Covey's book are all about personal victory. They help us take control of our lives and become more effective individuals. These habits build a strong foundation for everything else. Habit 1. Be proactive. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your actions and attitudes. It's about understanding that you are the one who controls how you respond to life, not your circumstances. So often, we wait for things to happen or we blame others for our problems. But when we choose to be proactive, we make decisions that move us closer to our goals. Think about a time when something went wrong. Did you react with frustration? Or did you think about what you could do to fix it? Being proactive isn't just about solving problems, it's about creating opportunities and taking charge. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This habit is all about having a clear vision of where you want to go in life. Covey tells us to think about our goals and imagine what kind of person we want to be in the future. When we have a clear idea of our destination, it's easier to make decisions that help us get there. For example, if you want to become healthier, you might picture yourself feeling strong and energetic. With this picture in mind, every small decision, like what you eat or how much you exercise, becomes easier because it's all moving toward that end goal. Habit 3. Put first things first. This habit is about time management. It's not enough to just know what you want. You also need to prioritize what matters most. Too often we get distracted by things that are urgent but not important. The key is to focus on the things that will have the biggest long-term impact on our goals. For instance, spending time with family or working on a personal project might not always seem urgent, but these are the things that matter most in the long run. Covey encourages us to spend our time on these important things, not just the urgent ones. These first 3 habits show us how to take control of our own lives. They help us build a solid foundation so we can grow and succeed in everything we do. In the next part, we'll talk about how these habits can help us build better relationships with others. But before that, think about which habit stands out the most to you. Which one could you start working on today? Public victory. Habits 4, 5, 6. Building strong relationships and collaboration. After building a strong personal foundation with the first 3 habits, Covey now moves on to the next step, public victory. These habits focus on our relationships with others and how we work together to achieve success. Success isn't just about what we can do alone, but also about how we work with those around us to create something bigger and better. Habit 4. Think win-win. The fourth habit is all about finding solutions where everyone can benefit. Win-win thinking means that in every situation, you look for ways where both parties can walk away feeling good. Covey explains that success is not a competition, it's about collaboration. Thinking win-win allows us to build stronger relationships by being fair, respectful, and looking for mutual benefits. Let's say you're negotiating a deal at work. Often people think in terms of I win, you lose, or you win, I lose. But with win-win, you look for a solution that works for both sides. For example, if you're working with a client, you don't just focus on your own gain. Instead, you try to find a way to make the deal beneficial for both you and the client. This builds trust and helps both parties succeed in the long term. Imagine two friends planning a trip. One friend wants to visit the mountains while the other prefers the beach. Instead of choosing one destination and making the other unhappy, they find a way to visit both places or maybe plan a different trip altogether that satisfies both of their needs. This way, both get something they enjoy. That's win-win thinking. Habit 5. Seek first to understand than to be understood. This habit is about effective listening. Covey emphasizes that to communicate well, we must first listen deeply to others before expressing our own ideas. Often, we listen with the intention of replying rather than understanding. This leads to miscommunication and conflict. Think about a time when you had a disagreement with someone. Maybe you were both talking at once, trying to explain your own point of view without really listening to the other person. In these situations, it's hard to reach a resolution because you're not hearing each other's concerns. Now imagine if, instead of rushing to share your opinion, you first took the time to listen and truly understand the other person's feelings. This makes the conversation smoother and more meaningful. For example, if a friend is upset, instead of immediately telling them how to solve the problem, listen to why they're feeling that way. Show empathy and validate their feelings before offering advice. When we take the time to listen first, it not only helps us understand others better, but also strengthens our relationships. It shows respect and makes people feel valued. Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's about teamwork. When people with different strengths and ideas come together, they can create something better than what any one person could do alone. Covey says that synergy happens when we celebrate differences and use them to our advantage. For example, think about a team of people working on a project. One person is good at generating ideas, another excels at planning, and another is great at communicating. If they each focus only on their own strengths and do not collaborate, the project may not reach its full potential. But when they come together and share their unique skills, the results are often much better than if they worked alone. Let's take a real-world example. In sports, teams often have players with different abilities. One player might be great at defense, while another is better at offense. Together, they form a balanced team that works as one to achieve the goal, winning the game. If one player tried to do everything alone, they would be less effective. But by working together, they create something much stronger. Synergy in everyday life can look like this. You and a friend may both be good at different things. Maybe one of you is great at writing and the other is good at designing. If you collaborate on a project, the result can be better than if each of you worked alone. By combining strengths, the work is richer and you both benefit. These three habits, think win win, seek first to understand, and synergize, are all about working well with others. They help us build strong, healthy relationships where both parties benefit. Whether you're at work, with family, or in social situations, these habits teach us how to collaborate effectively and create solutions that everyone can be happy with. Take a moment to think about your relationships, whether with coworkers, friends, or family. How can you start practicing these habits to improve how you work with others? Can you start looking for win-win situations in your life? Renewal and conclusion, habit 7, maintaining balance and final takeaways. The final habit, habit 7, sharpen the saw, is about renewal. Covey explains that just as a saw becomes dull after cutting for a long time, we too need to renew ourselves regularly to stay effective in all areas of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. In our busy lives, it's easy to forget about self-care. We get caught up in work, responsibilities, and daily tasks, and we often neglect our own well-being. But Covey stresses that true success doesn't come from constant hard work alone. We need time to recharge and grow. Physical renewal. This can mean exercise, eating well, or getting enough sleep. When we take care of our bodies, we have more energy and focus to handle life's challenges. Physical renewal. This can mean exercise, eating well, or getting enough sleep. When we take care of our bodies, we have more energy and focus to handle life's challenges. Mental renewal. Taking time to read, learn new things, or engage in activities that stimulate our minds is just as important. This keeps us sharp, curious, and ready to take on new challenges. Emotional renewal. This means taking care of our relationships, practicing gratitude, and finding ways to relax and de-stress. Strong emotional health helps us stay balanced and positive, no matter what's going on in life. Spiritual renewal. This doesn't necessarily mean religion. It's about finding something that gives your life meaning. It might be spending time in nature, meditating, or doing something that helps you feel at peace with yourself. Covey teaches that renewal is a continual process. It's not about doing everything at once, but about making small daily changes that help us stay healthy and balanced in the long term. Bringing it all together. Now that we've covered all 7 habits, let's take a step back and think about how we can apply them in our own lives. These habits are not quick fixes or tricks. They are principles that, when practiced regularly, can help us become more effective, not just in our work, but in our relationships, health, and personal growth. Remember, success is a journey, not a destination. By being proactive, setting clear goals, prioritizing what matters, and working well with others, we can create a life of purpose and fulfillment. And by renewing ourselves regularly, we can stay sharp and energized as we continue on that journey. Final reflection. Which of the 7 habits stood out to you the most? Is there one that you feel you could start practicing today? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about making progress and taking small steps every day. If this video helped you understand how these habits can change your life, like and subscribe for more content on personal growth. And if you have any thoughts or questions about these habits, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear how you plan to apply them in your own life. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but by practicing these habits every day, you can become the best version of yourself. So start today and keep moving forward. You've got this. The end.